In this video, I want to talk about the altcoin season. Has it happened already? Is it ever going to happen? And when it will happen? Well, first I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, which just put in another all-time high for this cycle just a couple of days ago, and it went to about a dominance level of 58.63%. Now, I don't believe the Bitcoin dominance chart has stopped for this cycle. I still think we'll get another pump and then we'll start dropping, so that might take a few weeks. I don't want to see the chart go sideways for another month. I don't think that will be healthy, and don't forget, Bitcoin has been going sideways for the past 6 months, and we really need to start doing something if we want to get to like 200k by the end of the cycle, maybe even 250k. Now, of course, Bitcoin is still ahead of schedule, and if you look at where Bitcoin was in the previous cycle, in September of 2020, it was at about 12 to even 10k. So we are still ahead of schedule because in the previous cycle we were not even close to the previous all-time highs right here. And we were not even dreaming about hitting new all-time highs like 60k. But even then, I mean, after September of 2020, as you can see, we had a huge pump that did not stop until April of 2021. So I still believe we are early and that we are ahead of schedule, and in my opinion, Bitcoin will most likely get to about 200k in this cycle, which is the 2.618 extension. Now, what does that have to do with the altcoin season? Well, in order for the altcoins to start pumping, I mean, they need Bitcoin, and right now, Bitcoin is not doing anything, which means that the altcoins will bleed against it, because usually when Bitcoin goes sideways, that's when the altcoins bleed against it, and that's why Bitcoin dominance is currently going up, and that's why it has been going up for the past 2 years. I mean, I've heard some people say that we already had an altcoin season, and in my opinion, I think that's just wrong, because if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, where exactly did we have an altcoin season? Was this an altcoin season? No, not really. Was this an altcoin season? No. It only dropped like 3% here and about, let's say, 5% here. That's not an altcoin season. What an altcoin season should look like is this right here. This is the real altcoin season. And this is the altcoin season that we got in the previous cycle. And what do you know? When Bitcoin dominance was doing this, so when it was dropping like crazy, the Bitcoin price was actually doing this. And what does that mean? What am I trying to tell you? Well, what I'm trying to tell you is that Bitcoin needs to do something in order for the altcoin season to actually start. And in my opinion, what we need right now is Bitcoin to go to like 100k by the end of the year, which I believe is very, very possible. And in my opinion, if we start doing that, and if Bitcoin breaks its previous all-time high of March 2024, I think that's when the altcoin season will start. And why do I think that? Well, Bitcoin dominance has been going up for the past 2 years, like I said, and at some point we need to get a correction, and it will most likely be a very sharp correction. And in my opinion, it will look something like this or something like this over here. Both of these were altcoin seasons. Also, each cycle that we had an altcoin season, so why would we not have one in this cycle as well? You know? Also, something else I want to mention is the fact that many altcoins need a third wave move to the upside. For example, Cardano is currently in a 1-2 setup, just like it was in the previous cycle, right here and then right here after the pandemic. And usually after a 1-2 setup, we get something like we got in the previous cycle right here. This was a third wave move. And right now we need a third wave move. Now let's continue. ICP also needs a third wave move to the upside. Solana also needs to go up, not in a third wave move, but in a fifth wave move to actually finish 5 waves. So Solana already went up in a 1, 2, 3, 4 setup, and we need a last wave for it, which means that it still needs to go up quite a lot. And in my opinion, it could easily break its previous all-time highs, and maybe even get like the 200% extension right here. Uniswap is also another coin that needs a third wave move to the upside, and that will most likely break its previous all-time highs because it held support levels in the main second wave move down, just like the other altcoins that I've talked about. So if the 1-2 setup holds support levels, that usually means that we get a third wave afterwards, and that third wave is very impulsive. It's always very impulsive, so that's why I'm expecting an altcoin season to happen. Many altcoins need a third wave, and Bitcoin dominance is close to that 0.618 extension. That to me screams like an altcoin season waiting to happen. Now let's continue. I mean, Near Protocol also needs a third wave move to the upside. Chainlink also needs a third wave move to the upside. Dogecoin as well. And I'm not sure about Polkadot. I'm not sure. I mean, the structure is not invalidated. If you zoom in, I mean, as you can see here in the second wave move down, we got very close to invalidating the 1-2 setup, but we did not go below this low right here. So maybe this means that we are not actually invalidated. And I mean, this coin still has the potential to go up in a third wave, at least. Now keep in mind, not all altcoins will have an altcoin season. I mean, in the previous cycle, of course, many altcoins went up quite a lot, but there were some altcoins that did not do that well. I don't want to name them, but if you were around for the previous cycle, you know what I'm talking about. Viance coin also needs a pump. Now, I don't have the wave count for it, but maybe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 setup. And if that's the case, we still need a fifth wave move up, which could put us at around $1,500 or so. And let's continue with AVAX. AVAX also needs a third wave. Ethereum Classic also needs a third wave. VeChain also needs a third wave. Render also needs to finish its main third wave, so I still believe that it's already in a third wave, but the third wave is not actually done. Jasmy also needs a third wave move to the upside. And Fetch AI still needs to finish its third wave move to the upside, just like Render. But like I said, first we need Bitcoin to actually do something, and as you know, Bitcoin does not usually do anything in September, but it goes up quite a lot in October, November and December. So there is a possibility that we do not top on the Bitcoin dominance chart until like November or so. Honestly, I don't want to see that happen. I want to see Bitcoin dominance top very soon, because altcoins, for example, altcoins like ADA are already very close to invalidating the 1-2 setup, and if Bitcoin goes sideways for another month, I mean, that will increase the chances of the 1-2 setups of the altcoins getting invalidated, and that would not be the best thing ever. Now, of course, there are some altcoins that had an 1-2 setup in the previous cycle, and the 1-2 setup got invalidated. For example, this 1-2 setup right here on the Cardano chart got invalidated when the pandemic happened, and this happened on many other altcoins as well. And after the 1-2 setup got invalidated, we still recovered from that, and we still went to new all-time highs in the bull market. So even though there's a chance that the 1-2 setup gets invalidated, if it does get invalidated, I still think that many altcoins will be able to recover from that, like they did over here in the previous cycle. Now, of course, altcoins that invalidate their 1-2 setup will most likely not go up as much as the altcoins that hold support levels. So that's also something you need to keep in mind. Now, of course, there's not a lot going on in the market right now, so I'm not going to make a 1-hour video about this, because not many people are going to watch it anyway. But I just want you to know that people that are patient right now will get rewarded when the altcoin season actually happens. So, in my opinion, you are still early, and we have not had the altcoin season. I mean, of course we haven't. Look at this pump that we got right here in December and February and March. This was not an altcoin season. This only happened because Bitcoin was going up. So I still believe many altcoins still can go up another 10x from where they're at right now, and maybe even 20x if Bitcoin goes to like 200k, because do not forget, Bitcoin has a huge market cap. It has a market cap of around $1 trillion right now. And if it goes up to like 200k, that would put its market cap at around 3 or 4 trillion. And if Bitcoin goes to like 3 or 4 trillion, I mean, many altcoins can easily go up another 20x, just because there will be a lot of money coming into the crypto space. But anyways, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.